all these trickery by NASA and all these other space agencies, and
See,
all that goes out the window because they see a little light in the sky, and it's the ISS. Oh, yeah.
This guy never went and spent any time in the woods or out in the ocean far enough away from all of that civilization right behind him. You see how he's on like this hill with these trees, making it look like he's out in nature. Meanwhile, behind him, it is a landscape of society and housing. That's a bunch of light, which means light pollution up here in the sky at night, preventing you from seeing stars the way that you used to be able to see stars. The way that you could when I was a kid, you'd go out to the mountains and you'd away from everything and you'd go camping and you'd actually see the Milky Way. You would see satellites. You would be able to identify them as satellites and not shooting stars. Like, I wonder if these flirts have just never gone out into a place that's like that, where you're actually capable of seeing the night sky without all the light pollution and see satellites and identify them as satellites. Because they point out seeing shit move in space and going, oh, how do you know that's even the space station? And you just believe it's there. There's too many of them for it to just be random, you fucking dum-dums.
Yeah, that's the ISS. That's all the proof they need, and everything else goes out the window.
Do you know how many times people have captured the ISS with camera equipment here on Earth? A lot.
Probably millions and millions of times. That's probably what it looks like when you're looking through like a telescope of some magnitude, right? Crossing the sun, that's probably the easiest way to get a good picture if you have the right kind of lenses to protect your eyes, and just like the equipment. The moon's probably the easiest one because you don't need the same kind of equipment. You just have to focus the camera correctly. I don't have a telescope nor the camera capability to do that.
The view will still be A-OK out there, and all you need to look for is a bright light in the sky that will be moving, and that'll be the space station.
I've seen the light go
She's
from
got a
horizon
Crown
to
Royal.
horizon.
I mean,
there's many problems with that light. First, it's as bright as the sun. It's really bright. How is the ISS reflecting that light as bright as the sun?
It's bright as the sun?
I don't know what a Crown
Well, surely,
Royal is,
Dave, when you
unless you're
saw
talking
it,
about
it
the
should have
drink.
illuminated the entire sky. But seriously, the ISS has solar arrays attached that, when combined, have a total area of around 2,500 square metres. On top of that, the station is wrapped in a highly reflective blanket to keep it cool. It's basically a 17,500 mile per hour giant mirror.
Back to me the whole way across. Is it made of mirrors? Is that mirror following me? Right? How would somebody 10 miles away see the same reflection? Because it can't reflect in all directions.
Tell me you don't understand how mirrors work without telling me you don't understand how mirrors work.
Well, not knowing how mirrors work and also not knowing how solar panels work, because congratulations, metal and glass is reflective. You just need the right angle. That's it. So you only had 53 HP, and they had full health and shields, and you destroyed them. Pfft, what a bunch of suckers. You see, you didn't know? See, you must have got your education from flat earth people that don't understand that, just shiny objects reflect light, and they just assume it has to be a whole-on mirror. And, that's basically what a solar panel is, given the correct angle. It's basically just a mirror. These dum-dums.
It's going 17,500 miles an hour for 12 minutes. I could see it. So what is it? I was in communication with a NASA whistleblower, and he says that they have 5 V-2 bombers that they've remodified with some parts of them are transparent material with a thin...
5 V-2 bombers like this that they refit with transparent material.
Thin metal struts that you really can't see. The bottom was overlaid with LEDs to match the color of the sun.
He called it V-2 bomber.
Material remodified with some parts of them are transparent V-2 bombers that they've refitted with a NASA whistleblower, and he says that they have 5 V-2 bombers that they...
I wanted to figure out what the fuck a V-2 bomber is, because I've never heard of a V-2 bomber. But then his dumbass
some
does
parts that
this.
you can't see. The bottom was they use them in their big.
The V-2 bomber. He's talking about the U-2 spy plane stuff he's got pulled up here. He's pulled up a bunch of U-2 stuff. U-2 stuff, U-2 stuff, U-2 stuff. This is U-2. This is a U-2. Like these aren't even all U-2s. He's literally just pulled up different aircraft that are thin and narrow because they're meant to have a lower profile, because if it's smaller, you have less chances of being pinged reliably by a radar. That was the early thoughts behind making yourself not seen by radar, 1957 here, not modern day where we understand the blocky textures and designs that we use today to send the signals elsewhere. But you just made the airplanes more narrow. You made the wings smaller. You had less of a profile. You flew high enough that you couldn't be seen in the sky. You overflew the radar so it didn't detect you. You flew too fast for it to matter. That was the plan of being like stealth back then with spy aircraft. He just doesn't understand how aircraft design works or why. And now he's using that from a supposed NASA leaker. Why can't I think of words? Whistleblower, a NASA whistleblower supposedly. But of course he doesn't have a name for the whistleblower. He doesn't have credentials for the whistleblower. Like, I understand not giving the name for a whistleblower, but I mean, like, how do I know you know who the fuck you're talking to and you're not just talking to someone that's making shit up to sound impressive? Because this all sounds like someone making shit up to sound impressive. Because you called it a V-2 bomber. And I don't think that even exists. It's actually going to drive me fucking crazy. Holy shit. It is called a V-2. Oh, nope, V-2 rocket. My bad. The V-2 rocket, not the V-2 bomber. Oh, no. We're not trying to find a V-2 rocket. We know the V-2 rocket exists. That was the first rocket design. Coincidentally designed by, the same guy who created who was in charge of NASA. Used to be a Nazi. No big deal. It just is what it is, You can always trust the government. Yeah, you've got the B-2 bomber, which is this guy. I saw this and was thinking maybe that's the V-2 bomber because it's what we typed in, but it's not. Everything is coming up V-2 is the rocket. Everything else is the B-2 bomber. This dumbass doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about at all. This flat earther is amazingly accurate with all his information.